This is the Prolycht Orion 675 FS, the new, much higher power version of their existing Orion 300 FS. Now the FS stands for full spectrum, as these are RGBACL lights. There's no white chips in here like you would get with other RGBWW lights. And I could easily do a whole video going over the pros and cons of this technology, but the important bit here is that you get lovely color accurate whites and far more brightness in RGB mode, with much more pronounced saturated colors, especially ones like yellow or cyan that are actually really quite hard for RGBWW fixtures to produce. And I think despite all their other nice features, which I'll run you through in a minute, that is the most important part of this light. This is a high-end, high brightness, full RGB color, hard source LED fixture. And there aren't that many of those on the market right now. There's a lot of COB lights, even a decent few RGB ones now, but not that many actually cater to the higher end productions and studios. And I think this Orion 675 is really well placed for that market, for several reasons. Firstly, let's take a look at the build quality and the physical design. This is definitely a very sturdy light. They're still in the process of having it officially IP rated, but they tell me that they're confident it will achieve a reasonably high rating. So depending on what that comes back as, you should be perfectly safe using this outside in a bit of rain. The whole light weighs 9.5 kilograms without its yoke, or 12 with the yoke. And the ballast is built into the light, so there's no separate power or control box, which is all built in. That makes it much easier to rig neatly into a ceiling rig, for example. It is a COB or chip on board LED light with a Bowens mount on the front, which we're all familiar with by this point. But the difference that stands out immediately from other Bowens mount lights is this huge PL mount style locking ring. This is the first Bowens mount light to have this to my knowledge, and it is a huge improvement. On a normal mount, like on their Orion 300 here, once you lock your modifier into place, it still wobbles around. That's just the way Bowens mount is designed. It shouldn't fall out or anything nasty like that, but it doesn't exactly inspire confidence. But here, you just slot your modifier in straight and then you lock it down with that PL lock, and it is rock solid. Much nicer to use. The other design feature I really like is the yoke. It's curved forwards, which brings the center of gravity of the light slightly forwards, and it gives more tilting clearance to angle the light down. Very useful. But it also has a quick release system with a secure V wedge and a spring-loaded clamp. And this means without any tools, you can take off the yoke and pack the light down neatly into a case. But it also means you can flip it around the other way, mount the light backwards on the yoke, so now the center of gravity has shifted backwards a little bit, and if you're using a big spotlight mount or a huge softbox like their new 60-inch one, it won't be quite as front heavy on the light stand, which is a really nice touch. I love that they thought about that. The controls on the back of the light are very straightforward, and we have the features we know and love from the Orion 300, like source matching to replicate different types of lights, color gamut limiting to avoid color clipping on your camera when in full RGB mode, and the fantastic app control as well. There's also a whole host of control protocols that you would expect on a high-end light. 5-pin DMX in and out, a LAN port with built-in ArtNet, and it also is supported in third-party apps like Blackout and Luminaire. Then there are the modifiers. The light comes with two reflector options, a wider 55-degree one and a more focused 30-degree option as well. We measured the light with both of these on and got an incredible 53,700 lux at 1 meter with the wide reflector and 59,300 with the normal one, which is about twice as bright as the Orion 300. We measured that one at 27,200 with its reflector. Then there's a new large 60-inch softbox plus all the other softboxes and lanterns from their Orion 300. And of course you can use any other third-party Bowens mount softbox or accessory because it's just a Bowens mount, of course, so you might already have a lot. But then there's their new Fresnel mount, which, considering the size and power of this light, is really quite remarkably small and slim profile. I don't think I've ever seen an optional Fresnel lens that is quite this low profile, especially with a huge 10-inch front diameter like this. You twist the whole lens around in order to spot and flood the beam, and it goes between 50 degrees and 15 degrees. At the wide end, I measured 44,300 lux, so slightly less bright surprisingly than the wide reflector was. But then when I went down to the 15-degree beam, the light was actually too bright at 1 meter away for my Sekonic C800 meter to even measure. I just got an error message saying it was too bright. So I dialed the light down to 50% brightness just to see what that would measure as out of curiosity. And even that came back at an incredible 149,000 lux at 1 meter. I did, however, manage to get a meter reading at full brightness by moving back to 3 meters away, and that came back at 28,500, which is basically the same measurement as what Prolycht actually claim on their website, which is always a nice sign that you can trust what a manufacturer is telling you. Let's also quickly look at color accuracy, and at 5600 Kelvin, it's pretty much the same as most other high-end lights. We measured an average extended CRI of 97.4, a TLCI of 97 and 95 TM30 RF and 102 TM30 RG. And if we break down that CRI measurement into color chips, you can see most of them are right up there. The only real dip that is bringing down the overall average is R12, the blue chip, which is often the one that is hardest for LED technology to score well on. So all of this is as expected, really. This is a very color accurate light that will compete with pretty much any other high-end fixture out there. So that's the Prolycht Orion 675 FS. And if you're looking for a hard source RGB fixture to use on a high-end set, this definitely needs to be on your radar in my opinion. But let me know what you think of it down in the comments section, and if you want to buy one for yourself, head over to proav.co.uk or just get in touch with our sales team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.